Hey everyone. So based on last week, the three SDGs that I kind of found as a trend, or that were like problems that can be a trend for the SDGs for LA are no poverty, clean water and sanitation, and climate action. So then I found the website for everything on SDGs for LA, city of LA. So some of the actions and strategies that LA is doing for no poverty to begin with is by 2030, they plan to build the resilience of the poor, reduce exposure to climate-related events. So that's just like housing underprivileged citizens and just getting that like foundation established for people who don't have access to things such as a home or places that they can go to when a climate change event occurs, such as like a tsunami or an earthquake, or the heat is a big one. And then moving on, the goal for LA is by 2030 to eradicate extreme poverty. So I didn't really say what the plans were for that. But some of the things that they can do is increase minimum wage and the better access to educational resources for people so they can get out of poverty. And then moving on, clean water and sanitation was another SDG that kind of stuck out to me, especially based on last week's post. So some of the goals or strategies that LA is doing is by 2030, get universal and equitable access to safe drinking water for all. That pretty much, they're just trying to make it easier to get access to drinking water. I know we kind of talked about it last week too. That's like, filling their reservoirs and building more facilities where they can clean salt water and water that came down as rain. And moving on, so by 2020, their goal was to protect water-related ecosystems. So that's preserving natural areas of rivers, lakes, things like that. And then moving on to the last one, climate action. I think that's a big one. Some of the things that they're doing is strengthen resilience and adaptive capabilities to climate-related hazards, and then improve education awareness on climate change. So just getting the people more involved in how things are done by the city to kind of be more aware of climate change. And then how would you assess and measure and monitor some of the impacts of this? Well, I think especially with the last one, improve education, you would see an increase in people doing things that are more eco-friendly, public transportation, using less water in the showers, things like that. But some of the things are also hard, like it's hard to assess poverty, especially with a changing economy and government, that all goes into that. So I think that's the hardest one to kind of assess the impact of that. And then in clean water, obviously you would see an increase in reservoirs and cleaner system for capturing that. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had on this one. Just to kind of sum up what I had no poverty, climate action, and clean water and sanitation as the SDGs for this week.